The Shooting Range. In this episode, Pages of History, Sub-Zero Chemistry, Special Breslau Ground Map, and Metal Beasts, the new MiG with a suspended buffet. The new update is out, which means Metal Beasts has some new vehicles to review. Please welcome the MiG-27M, a top Soviet supersonic third-generation fighter-bomber with a variable sweep wing. In the late 1960s, the Mikoyan Gurevich Design Bureau optimized the newest MiG-23 fighter for air-to-ground attacks. The new machine was designated 23B, and later served as the base for the MiG-27 family. Despite major differences in navigation and target acquisition systems, the planes kept their looks pretty similar. But let's see what's inside. The MiG-27's power plant is a single turbojet engine with an afterburner. A significant share of the plane's inner space is taken up by self-sealing fuel tanks. Its fixed armament is a 6-barreled 30mm autocannon with an ammo pool of 300 rounds. Steel armor sheets protect the pilot from enemy fire. The plane's hardpoints can carry guided and free-fall bombs of various calibers, 3 types of rockets, gun pods, and a wide selection of precision-guided munitions. The MiG-27 is a direct relative of a fighter aircraft and hence inherits an excellent level of flight performance. Its variable sweep wing allows for a reasonable level of control in any flight situation, while the afterburner maintains a copacetic speed and climb rate. Just remember how hungry the engines are. A 20-minute fuel load is your minimum. The 6-barreled 30mm beast of a cannon is capable of obliterating tanks, and indeed, no air target can resist its fire either. Its fighter brother's 23mm cannon doesn't even get close. The catch here is hidden in the extreme rate of fire. Even increased, the ammo pool can only last 3.5 seconds of continuous fire. The MiG-27 has also lost the pride of MiG-23, the all-seeing Zapfir radar system, together with its radar-equipped missiles, which means that you'll have to get by with IR-guided missiles. But, on the other hand, it's the all-aspect R-60M. With these missiles, you can launch them even in a frontal attack, although the targeting distance is limited by 2 kilometers this way, and this plane can't boast a big amount of countermeasures. It's limited to 12. Don't expect to dodge more than a couple of enemy missiles. In mixed battles, this MiG might encounter a few issues too. A cannon with armor-piercing rounds, 500-kilogram bombs, S-8 and S-24 rockets are all great, but they're only great as long as there's no enemy air defense. In other words, you need to ensure your own safety first. That's where precision-guided munitions come to help you. 2 powerful TV Seeker air-to-surface Ha-29T missiles will ensure a one-way ticket to the hangar screen for any enemy anti-air vehicle, provided they hit it. The thing is, this missile doesn't target vehicles. It targets a certain point on the surface. If the SPAA driver is eagle-eyed enough to recognize it, they may simply drive away from it. The guided bombs have a similar targeting mechanism with the same flaw, and the only difference is the lack of any engine, which means it takes longer to get to the target. Now, the most versatile set would be the one with 4 laser-guided Ha-25ML missiles. You'll have to, well, forget about the fire and forget part, but at least you'll definitely hit what you want. The Luftwaffe ruled the skies at the beginning of the war. In the summer and early autumn of 1941, the Red Army's air forces suffered heavy casualties, being unable to stop the German bomber armadas escorted by numerous fighters. The worst situation was seen around Leningrad. Still, the local forces managed to keep up the resistance, and the Germans suffered some casualties in every air raid on the city. Messerschmitt, Junkers, and even the heavy twin-engine Heinkel planes were sometimes falling right inside the borders of the city. The autumn of 1941 was a season so straining for the locals that few noticed a group of people lurking around downed German planes. They were asking for the same little thing each time. Can we please get a sample of air fuel from these planes? Even a drop would do. Sorry, why? Well, for science. We're from the Institute of Applied Chemistry. He is Comrade Semyonov, our senior fellow. A bit later, the very same autumn, senior fellow Semyonov came to Leningrad front headquarters and claimed that he knew how to defeat the Luftwaffe. He had all the reasons to, after all. You see, the samples they had been hunting for proved that German aviation gasoline had significant amounts of coal naphtha in it. The naphtha served a dual purpose. First, it increased the octane number tremendously, and second, it helped to cope with the oil scarcity Germany had been experiencing on all stages of World War II. There was one little catch with it, though. Coal naphtha makes gasoline turn solid at a temperature of only -14 Celsius. No plane can fly when its tank is full of yellow ice. You might have already realized where this is going, right? Major General Alexander Novikov, Leningrad Air Force commander, did realize immediately. He also realized that the Germans would replace their summer gasoline with winter gasoline as soon as they noticed it didn't work. But it would imply a certain period of time where all Luftwaffe planes would stay grounded. All they needed to do was wait for the right moment. The night of November the 6th, 1941, was especially cold. So around the afternoon, Siversky Aerodrome, that served as the base for the infamous Green Hearts from Yagdesvada 54, heard the menacing whistling of bombs. Not a single German plane saw the skies that day, and only a few anti-aircraft guns opened fire. Half an hour later, the Il-2 flying tanks arrived, famous for their sturdiness, and started wrecking anything they could hit with their machine guns and cannons. Straight lines of Messerschmitt and Junkers planes were turned into smoldering piles of debris in mere seconds. By the end of the day, the German airfield was turned into smoking ruins. The Germans had to forget about mass bombing Leningrad for quite a while after that devastating defeat. Nikolai Semyonov, the scientist who studied German gasoline, later became a fellow at the Academy of Sciences and even went on to receive the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1956. Today we're going to review a new ground map brought to you by the Autumn Update. Please welcome Breslau, a map based on the World War II siege of a fortress bearing that name. This large city is now known under the name of Wrocław. The River Oder divides it into 3 parts: the park area, the center, and a few small islands in the water. Most of the map is suitable for closer combat, but there are a few places for long-distance shots. Let's start with Point A. The capture zone is situated in the park area, the northeast part of the map. Despite its hills and lush greenery in some parts, this place is full of long-range positions. Moreover, The point itself lacks any significant cover, just a fence and a couple of buildings on either side of the capture area. All of these features mean that taking Point A quickly might become a problem, which is why we recommend taking a longer, southern route that goes along the buildings near the river. Curvy streets will lead you very close to the capture area while providing some good cover. Just remember to check the minimap to avoid getting lost in these yards. Now, the central B point. A place of combat so close you're basically touching barrels with your enemy, which is unsurprising considering it's an island full of buildings. There are two ways to get here, either by crossing one of the bridges or traversing the water and climbing the ruins. The Oder River becomes very shallow when it enters the urban area, so basically any tank can wade into it without fear. The river crosses the map diagonally, so it might be even a good way to surprise your enemy with an unexpected attack. Finally, Point C. It's situated in the urban area, but fighting here usually implies medium-range shots. The reason is the wide, straight streets connecting this point with spawn points, which gives players a chance to see each other long before they get to the capture area. Still, this part of the map isn't trench war only. It's full of narrow streets, small passes and short alleys, so flanking your enemy or getting closer will be pretty much possible. You won't get lost in the streets either, since the city planning involves square blocks and some wide streets. So the navigation is pretty simple. And now it's up to you to find interesting positions or great passages on the Breslau map. And it's time for us to answer some of your questions. The first question was sent by a player called Maciek Konopka. What's the best German 3 rank plane fighter? Hi there! All rank 3 German planes are great, and we couldn't find the best one even after some deliberation. Our team seems to be divided between two 109 planes. Those who love dogfights chose the lighter Friedrich with a lower BR, while Boom and Zoom and frontal attack fans chose the Gustav with its 20mm autocannons. And you can choose something for your favorite playstyle yourself, too. Rags Almighty asks, the DB605 is actually an inverted V12, not an inline engine. Hi there, Rags. An aviation inline engine is an engine with its cylinders arranged into one or more banks connected to a single crankshaft. There's a multitude of configurations for them. One bank, two banks like flat engines, V engines, A engines, three banks or W engines, and even four banks called VV or AA engines, which means you can call any aviation V-type engine an inline engine. Another question comes from Surushirin. How can I use my coupons to get the next battle pass for free? Does it need any action to do? Hi there. To get the next battle pass for free, you need to get 2 coupon upgrades in the current season. You will be able to find them on levels 105 and 125. Keep them in your inventory, and by the time next season begins, the shop will have an exchange button. The man who likes funny comments IDK writes, why do modern IFVs have engines in the front? Hello there. There's more than just one reason for that. First, it allows for a crew compartment in the rear of the machine, which is much more convenient and safe for soldiers, even if they need to leave the machine on the move. Second, Since light machines like the BMP often have paper-thin armor, crew protection is also provided by anything the incoming round has to hit beforehand, the engine and the transmission included. And the last comment for today was written by Gamerhood MB. Are you planning to publish some new versions of the Marder 1? Greetings! Check the German tech tree. We've actually added another Marder version in the recent update. Good luck in battle. Well, once again, that's it for today. You've been watching The Shooting Range by Gaijin Entertainment, and the next episode will premiere the following Sunday at 4 p.m. GMT or noon Eastern Time. Subscribe and click the bell because you really don't want to miss our next videos. And for goodness sake, don't forget to leave a like, because we know you do like them. And please share your thoughts and comments because we love to hear about them. We'll see you next week.